As you know, we can experience both pleasant and unpleasant feelings and emotions. The unpleasant ones include fear, jealousy, pain, sadness, shame, loneliness, stress, despair, and so on. Meanwhile, the pleasant ones include joy, gratitude, love, excitement, pride, amusement, and so forth. But what if I told you that the pleasant feelings and emotions cannot exist without the unpleasant ones? And by the way, I consider the unpleasant ones to be forms of suffering. Anything that is experienced as unpleasant is, in essence, suffering. Now, in my view, there's always an opposite. For example, where there's a right side, there's also a left side. Where there's light, there's also darkness. Where there's love, there's also hate. And so, where there are pleasant feelings and emotions, such as joy, there are also unpleasant ones, such as sadness. However, the pleasant ones can only be experienced in two ways. Either the unpleasant ones are absent, or they are perceived as absent. Now, I should note that they are never truly absent, as suffering is always present in our lives in one way or another. But to keep things simple for this video, let's consider them as either absent or perceived as absent. An example of when the unpleasant ones are perceived as absent is when you're stuck in traffic and feeling frustrated and annoyed because you're late for an important meeting. But suddenly you get a call from a close friend you haven't spoken to in years, and they're in town for a surprise visit. The excitement and joy of reconnecting with your friend completely overshadow the frustration of the traffic, and for that moment, your irritation fades away. The pleasant distracts you from the unpleasant. And here's an example of when the unpleasant ones are absent. Imagine you've been dealing with a sprained ankle for weeks, feeling pain and frustration as you struggle with movement. Gradually, as you heal, the pain lessens and you start to walk more comfortably. The return of mobility feels freeing, and each step without pain becomes a reminder of how enjoyable it is to be able to move freely. In this situation, the pleasant doesn't distract you from the unpleasant, but instead, the unpleasant diminishes, resulting in a pleasant feeling. So as you can see, when unpleasant feelings and emotions are absent or perceived as absent, we can experience pleasant feelings and emotions. And it's not the other way around though. It's not like where there's life, there's happiness. No, where there's life, there's suffering. Living takes energy, and when we consume energy, we become tired and hungry, for example. But when we sleep and eat, we feel better. To know what it's like to feel good, we must first know what it's like to feel bad. And if we want to feel anything at all, we have to suffer.